So in today's video, I'm going to go over how to replace this door slab easily with just putting in a new slab, cutting the hinges out, and cutting the handle out. So stick around. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out my slab here. I'm going to take the old door and I'm going to put it right on top. And you'll see, pretty bangled up, no good. But what I want to do is I want to put it on top so that actual hinges, bottom of the hinges, because the hinge curves right there, I want this part to be on the same side as the door. So don't flip it upside down. So go ahead and stick that on there. Now what I want to do is I just want to line up my edges here. About as good as you can, close as you can there. Then I want to take my clamps here. You can use any kind of clamps. I'm just going to clamp this down so it doesn't move when I start drawing lines. Let's just tighten that down there. Now, one thing that is important to remember is when you put the two doors together, you want your hinges to be exactly the same. So if you set it up top like this and the straight part is here and this is the curved part, you want it to be the same way down here. So straight and then curved. So what we want to do, just mark right there and take our straight edge and mark right there. Mark on this door. We don't want it marked down here because when we cut our hinges out, again, we want it to be like this, okay? Because we want it to match exactly on the top. So again, same thing with this hinge, right there, right there. Now, if we don't line these up, and let's say, for example, we flip this over and stick it on here and then go right off that line, our door is going to end up being backwards. We want to make sure these are lined up so the hinges go exactly the same way on both the old door and the new door. Now we can remove our clamps. Now I am going to cut this, so I do recommend putting something down. Otherwise you're going to be cleaning a lot up of your depth. And then we can just set the depth on our router here. Now, fortunately, it looks like my router is not going to go deep enough, so I'm going to cut it manually. So let's just outline our hinge here. Apparently you need to have a standard router for that one. I'm just going to outline all my hinges. Then what I want to do is I want to set the router depth to about the same as a hinge, maybe a little bit deeper than that. If you have a regular router versus a handheld, it'll go deeper on this. I just didn't bring my regular router. So just put that on there, set your depth. That's pretty close. That'll work. Lock it down. Now we're just going to have to eye this, which I was hoping not to do, but. That's where it's nice. If you got the guide, it's quite a bit easier. Put this in there. Just make sure your depth's good. And move on to the next one. Like I said, if you got the guide on there, it makes it quite a bit easier, but that works. Now I've got a Ryobi doorknob kit. Now this is an older one, but there are new ones out there, and like I said, it'll be linked in the description. This makes it really easy for both cutting this hole and the hole here. So again, you can adjust this depending on the location of your hole. If it's 2 3/8, it's 2 3/4. Again, right there. So mine's 2 3/4. So what I'm going to do is line that up. Now, what you're going to do to lock this in place is just close this like that. And then there's 2 screw holes right here. Put it tight. This is going to be the same spot for the plate. What you're going to do is just and lock it down like that. Just make sure you're still lined up. Then we're going to take our hole saw, and as you can see, the arbor's not in here. So we need to get this out. It's on pretty tight. Then if you got some socket adapters, what you need to do, this is 3/8. Take your socket adapter, put it in there, put that in there. Then what you're going to do is just hold on, and you'll loosen it right up. Tighten that down. Drill with a little bit more power. Standard drill will work fine, but I want something with a little bit more speed and torque. Go through that pretty easily. You want your hole to go all the way through. Now, before I usually remove this, what I like to do is just go ahead and cut this hole as well, or at least give me location for it. Doesn't have to necessarily be cut all the way through, but again, I'm going to remove this. Easy to take off. Put it on my other hole saw. Put it in here. Lock that down. And again, this. And again, we don't have to go all the way through. I just want to get us started. That's enough to get me started. Now I know where my hole's at. Remove this. And yeah, if you have multiple drills, it makes it a lot easier. Now what we're going to do is just flip our door over. Got our hole here. And that's why you want to go all the way through, is because we're going to put the hole saw right back in the same spot. Like that. Again, put it back in the same spot. And there we go. Cut right through. Pretty easy. Move our arbor bit. And again, we've already got our the hard part about drilling this hole out is a lot of times you get a lot of stuff caught in there. So at that point, again, just remove remove the arbor bit. And that'll help to get some of that out. It gets hot. It'll be very hot, so. Clean off what you can. And that's kind of what happens when you go up against this kind of board. It's not real wood. It's kind of glued together stuff. It's not very great, so it will get stuck in here pretty easily. So sometimes you got to clean it out. So lock it down again. And this time, as you see, it went right through because that was actual wood it was going through.